Well, welcome to Plan Watch Walk, which is the start of St Oswald's Way. This is a walk that's going to take us from Holy Island. We can see Lindisfarne Castle behind us. It's going to take us down the northeast coast, cutting across into Northumberland and ending up on the Roman Wall. Well, today's jaunt is stage one, and that's taking us from Holy Island, Lindisfarne, and we're going to be heading down to Bamburgh. So if we just do a quick pan around, we've got the castle centre of screen. So we pan around, got a great view here. We have got the Farne Islands. We pull around, centre of screen now. We've got Bamburgh we're going to be heading to today. Pull around, we've got Ross Sands. The two towers there is Giddy Point. The opposite that is Fenwick Flats. Behind that is where we're going to be walking. So we're going to be walking down to Bamburgh, and as we pull around we can see the rest of Holy Island. So we're going to have a little look around here before we start on our way. Stage one of St Oswald's Way starts on Holy Island, and we walk to the mainland before heading to Fenwick and onward to Belford, with some great views along the way. We then pick up the beautiful Northumberland coast and conclude at Bamburgh. Well, hello everyone, joined by Martin Pameter, who was heavily involved in setting up St Oswald's Way. So Martin, can you tell us a little bit about St Oswald's Way and the setting up of it, please?
Well, St Oswald was one of the three main Northumbrian saints, and the idea of the walk was to link various places together that are associated with St Oswald. So it starts off at Lindisfarne, Holy Island of Lindisfarne, where Oswald helped Aidan to set up the first monastery on Holy Island. Then goes through Bamburgh, which is where his royal palace was back in the Anglo-Saxon days, and then finishes at Heavenfield, which is where he fought a battle to reinforce his kingdom of Northumbria, and also he then went on to establish Christianity again in the Northumbria region. And so the route is about 96 miles in total, and it takes in a lot of the main features of Northumberland that people know about. So there's a lot of coast and castles which are really beautiful. Goes through forests and lots of countryside and along Hadrian's Wall at the end, and finishes at one of Northumbria's main historic sites as well.
Wow, that's brilliant, thank you for that. Is there any particular section that you prefer or stands out to you?
My favourite section is probably around Beautiful Bay, which is north of Bamburgh. It was always one of my favourite sections even before this year, and the route of St Oswald's Way is changing this year because of the England Coast Path. It's going to take even more of Beautiful Bay, and it's the extension, it's now getting closer to the coast itself, and the views of Beautiful Bay are absolutely stunning, and there's so much history around there as well. It's a beautiful part of the county.
It certainly is, I'll agree with that one. Is there anything else you want to add just before we close off?
Well, the route's managed to a large extent by the St Oswald's Way management group, and we're running short of volunteers to either be on the group or to help us out with just looking after small sections of the route in terms of maintenance and reporting problems to the county council. So anybody that would like to work in a more administrative role, either be on the group or our group of advisors, or to work as a ranger, would be very, very welcome.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Well, many thanks for that, Martin. Do appreciate it.
That's okay. Well, thanks. I hope you enjoy your walk, then.
We're going to start the walk today by having a look around Holy Island itself, and there's no better place to start than Lindisfarne Castle and having a look at some of the great views. You'd be amazed at some of the things you see if you're able to have a walk around the island. Got all these old stone statues, and there's a number of these sculptures along the route as we go. We come to St Mary's the Virgin Church, we can just see ahead of us here. So as we have a look around, I'm going to take a little bit of time out and have a look inside, I think. As we head into the church, ahead of us here, we've got a sculpture of the monks carrying St. Cuthbert. Ahead of us here we've got the original priory of Holy Island. It was founded by St. Aidan in AD 635. And here ahead of us we can see the structure of St. Aidan with the church behind us. Well, we've just pulled out of Holy Island. You can just see behind us the road. We've come down the road. We've got a couple of options here. We can either continue down the road, or the other way to do it is you've got all these posts ahead of us here, and this is the Pilgrim's Way. So as it says, this is where the pilgrims came across. You've got to be careful on tides, you've got to check your tides. We're about an hour after the causeway is opened, and it looks pretty good. So we're going to give it a go. I'm not going to take my shoes off initially. We're going to try it with shoes on, but I've got a feeling I might be taking my shoes off at some point. But let's see how it gets on. Well, quick sit rep. We're about halfway over. I thought it'd be a little bit more tricky than it is, to be honest. The sand's not too bad. You've got three options really here. You've got one, good set of Gore-Tex boots. Option two, walking shoes, which aren't necessarily waterproof, and you're probably best to take them off on the way because we've got channels we need to get through. And option three is to go barefoot all the way. So far I've done option two, where I've taken my shoes off for most of it, to be perfectly honest, and but it's sort of novel and rather nice. So probably about halfway over now. I have a look ahead, got another channel. We can see the cars just over to the right there, heading across the causeway, and we're doing all right. After we pass the safety tower, see all the cars going across the causeway just over there. The marshiness of it sort of goes away anymore across the sands now, and you've got some journey bits ahead. So let's see, I've got a feeling there's some more marshy bits to come. It's really enjoyable. Well, we're now on the mainland after coming over from Holy Land. We can just see ahead of us there over Lindisfarne. So we pick up the path here. There we go, all signed for probably for St. Cuthbert's Way, but we're actually on St. Oswald. So we can just see underneath there we've got the sign for St. Oswald's Way. So we're going to be heading along the path now and starting our journey down to Bamburgh. So we're now heading out across the fields. So far it's been a great little walk over from Holy Island there. Ahead of us we've got these massive concrete blocks. This was part of the defence for the Second World War, for any possible landing. Well, you know, it's that time of year when you've got the lambs out. We're only just getting going really, heading across the fields at the minute, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just ever so tranquil, the bird song in the background. Even the sheep are laid back. Signage on the walk is pretty good. We can just see ahead of us here. So we're going to go through the gate, and we've got the bridge to go over. Again, all signed. Then we're heading up the path, and that one's signed as well. So it's really good. So signage wise, oh god, we're going to be going over here, is all pretty good. It makes it easier for the navigation. We need to cross the main north, south, east coast rail line. So all the instructions on here. Don't forget you need to give the controller a ring to provide permission to cross. It's pretty simple. And we're going to be over the other side and continuing up the side of the hedge. Well, we've pulled back, we can just see just on the headland there is Holy Island, and we've come off the fields and we pick up a road, and the next sign just on the left here is quite actually, it's hidden in oh, that's rather nice. Got a bullfinch just on top of the sign. It's not particularly well obvious, rather it's well signed but not that obvious because it's hidden, but we've got put away some Cuthberts, so we're on the route of St Cuthbert's, St Oswald's, and also the coastal path. So this bit of the route's well used by the long distance paths. Then if you can just see on the headland there, that's Bamburgh we're heading to, just in the haze. As we pull up the road, approaching the old settlement of Fenwick, we come to the A1, which is the main north-south trunk road, and as you can see, it's reasonably busy road and it's fast traffic. Oh, we seem to have a window. That's good. Just be careful as you're going over. Want to enjoy the walk, not the hospital. Anyway, we're heading on up now towards, as I say, the settlement of Fenwick, and then we are going to be heading up into the woods and inland, which will be really nice. We pull up from the A1 and we get to this little island in the way here, and we've got all the signage for the walk. And we've got the St. Where are we? There we go. We've got the St Oswald sign. So, need to head up here towards the village shop, and I think we've got a small trek up the road, and then we'll be pulling off onto the fields and the fells and the woods again. Well, as we come up to Bamburgh, we've just got here on our right. Over on the left, next to the telegraph pole, there's more signage, which is wonderful. And we've got a nice little gate to get through here as well. So we've got here St Cuthbert's, St Oswald's, coastal path. So they're all on here. So we'll just get through the Kissing Gate, and our path continues across the field. So we're going to be heading over here, and then we're going to be heading up towards the wooded area, and there's going to be some nice tree-lined walking to come. Well, if you've watched some of my videos before, you know that I keep turning around and saying, don't forget to look behind you, and this is just such an apt instance of that. So we're pan around here. We've got over on the left, just by the tree, we've got Holy Island. We've got the two posts that are sitting up, that's Gilly Point. We're then looking across Ross Sands with Fenham Flats in front of us here, right the way over in the background there on the horizon to the Fawn Islands. I hope it comes out in the video. It's just beautiful, and if we listen, it's just so tranquil. Beautiful walking. As we walk along the edge of the woods, the path's pretty straightforward, to be perfectly honest. But what you do find when you when you walk along some of these paths, you become very observant at picking out the signs. There's one there, there's another one ahead of us, and they just seem to pop up and you get this second sense of where you're going. So it's really pleasant. Great day for this walk, mind. Warm but not hot, very nice. Oh look, there's another one on the side of the bridge as well. Well, quick sit rep where we're up to. If you have a look on the top right hand of the screen, you can see the map of where we're up to. So we've had some woodland walking, we've had forest trails, as we can see behind, and we're more or less coming to the end now of this particular section. Now let's turn the camera around, and we've got signage ahead of us here, and as ever the path is really well signed. So we'll continue on and coming out of the woods, and we'll be getting up onto the fields and the fells for a wee bit. I'll give you an update from there. As we're moving along the path, the hawthorn this time of year, just stunning. There's bushes and bushes of it all in the depth. It's just really pleasant. And the tranquility and the birds, hopefully you can hear them in the background, just adds for such a nice walking experience. You can probably just see me. I've just been chatting to a couple of guys that are doing the coastal path, and they're really enjoying themselves. So they're heading up to Bamburgh today. Anyway, we're now at the point where we have got a fantastic view basically. So we've got Lindisfarne Holy Island, we've got Fenham Flats, we go across then is the just above where the smoke is Sands, can't remember the name off the top of my head, and it pulls round Beautiful Bay and then round to, you just probably see next to the Hawthorn there, you've got Bamburgh Castle is where we're heading. But we're now pulling back in, so it's got here on the signs, it has got St Cuthbert's Cave 1 mile, so you can head up there if you want to go to the cave. We're not going to do that today, and at this point we're now leaving the route of the St Cuthbert's, and we're going to be continuing on St Oswald's, which is our route, and the coastal path. So we're going to be heading along just over the top and around by all of the hawthorn ahead here. We've just come down the track from Virgin Hill Woods, and we come to Swinholme Lake, which is just really beautiful and tranquil. You can probably hear the birds in the background. It's just ever so nice just to take it in. Anyway, we need to continue on our way and get back on the track. As we come down from the lake, we've got Swinholme Farm just ahead of us here. So you need to walk through the farm, through the tracks there. And then as we pan round, got the gate just by the tower ahead of us. Through there, and then we'll cross over the fells, heading towards Belford. As we're getting down closer to Belford, we've got the dry stone wall here with some signage. As we bear round and have a look to the right as we've just been coming down, just behind the gorse here, there's an area of woodland, and it's known as the Hag. Now, it might not be what you think it is, but supposedly in local dialect, the Hag actually means area of exposed peat. So there's some pretty useless information for you. But anyway, hopefully it adds to what we're doing. And the scenery and the backdrop is just wonderful. So as I'm heading back into Belford, you can just see ahead of us here, as we're going through on our left, that's West Hall, It's an old fortified looking building, and behind it is Chapel Crag. And as we pull round, we can see where we've come from. All going well. Well, we've just come up the road and into Belford itself. So ahead of us we've got the 18th century cross in the market square, and we've got the Bluebell behind, and just through the gap there you can see that's the St Mary's Church, which is just off. This is known as the Great North Road, the original Great North Road. So we need to come out of the junction here, turn right and head away from the Bluebell. Just after the entrance to the Belford Golf Club, there's a signage, public footpath, and it's got the signs for the Northumberland Coast Path, which is what we're looking for. So we need to be down here and heading off along the side of the fence. Well, as we leave Belford behind us, come through a cut here, and we've got the main trunk road, A1 again. So this is where, might have a gap again. Been lucky twice. That's where you got to be a bit careful. We did it twice with no problem. Yay! So, onward to the rail line. We've got to cross the rail line again. Well, we've got to cross the main rail line once again. This time we are at Belford Burn. So, it's pretty straightforward. Just give the guys a ring, tell them where you are, and they'll give you the go-ahead or not. We've just come down the side of the fence here across the fields. Some really nice views along the way, and we've come here to a cacophony of signage. So we've got big signs straight ahead of us here: English Coastal Path and the Northumberland Coastal Walk left, and then it says go back where we've come. And then we've got on the fence here, we've got a sign that says St Oswald's Way and the coastal path right. So anyway, what we need to do is follow the sign for St Oswald's Way. So we're going to get through the gate, and then we are going to head right, and that's going to take us round through and into Warren Mill. Well, ahead of us here we've got Beautiful Bay, and behind it we can see Lindisfarne and Holy Island. If we just pan round, that's the road we've come along. That was the junction I just mentioned. And we've got the old well mill. So we're going to continue down this road into these trees, wooded areas, and we've got Spindlestowe Heugh ahead of us. That's a really nice little path. So let's see where that takes us. As we come down the road here, just through the trees, again, just be a wee bit careful. Some of the signage isn't that obvious. I spoke to a few people on the walk who are doing coastal paths, they're doing different routes, and they say they've got lost a wee bit because of some of the signage. The signage is good, but sometimes it's hidden. So we're up through the woods here, which should be really nice. Well, we've just pulled up from the caravan park, and we get the first view once again of the coast. So ahead of us here we've got, see just through the telegraph poles, we've got Lindisfarne, Holy Island, we've got Beautiful Bay sitting there, we've got the sign about 50 metres ahead we need to take, and as we pull round we've got the sign to tell us which way to go. And behind there we can just see the start of Bamburgh Castle. With behind us we've got the Farne Islands. So we've got some classic views sitting around here, just wonderful. I always think this is one of the best views of Bamburgh Castle. It's just from the north looking to it on the south, just stunning. So we've got the Farne Islands just ahead of us there in the water. So we're going to be picking up the main road, maybe as you can hear that. We turn left and hang along and not very far, and then we head up over the hillock we can see ahead of us here and along the coast towards Bamburgh, along the headland, and that's a stunning bit of walking, so lots to look forward to still. Well, we're currently heading over the golf course, the Bamburgh golf course, and as you look around you get the most marvellous view of where we've come from and where we're going to. So ahead of us, pretty much centre of screen, that is Lindisfarne Holy Island. You can't actually see where the causeway is because the tide's in front of us here we've got Beautiful Bay, which is completely full. If we go back to the headland, we've got the woods and the forests that we walked through, and as we pull round, just the other side of this structure here, that will be Belford. But we've still got plenty of great walking along to Bamburgh. You'll come across a number of these Second World War structures on the northeast coast, which were part of the Second World War defences. As we continue along the path, we come across a couple of large sand dunes on our left. It's worth taking a detour here as the views from the top are just fantastic. Well, we're now on top of the dunes, and sometimes words just really don't do justice to the view. Ahead of us we've got Bamburgh Castle, and as we pan round we've got uninterrupted views of the horizon. Right in the distance we have Holy Island, and just in front is the great beach of Ross Sands. Then we have Beautiful Bay, and we can see on the horizon the route that we've just taken. This area here and this view up here, it's just stunning. The flagpole ahead of us, that's the golf course. So we'll come down from the golf course and we pick up this white building, which is a lighthouse. It dates back to 1910, refurbished in 1970, but it's the most northern lighthouse, land-based lighthouse in England. Across what's locally known as Stag Rock, you can see ahead of us here. It's not really known why there was a picture of a stag painted on. It's believed to go back to the late 1800s or early 1900s, and but it's not really known why it was painted on. But commonly known as Stag Rock, and actually been seen for a long way around. Well, this is the view that meets us when we get to Bamburgh. How stunning is that? Well, what a stunning day's walking that's been. It's been a walk of three elements really. We've had Lindisfarne and coming across from Lindisfarne, then we've had the inland piece, and then we've come along the coast. Each element has just had so much to offer. Even if you don't do the full St Oswald's Way, doing this walk, you just have a great day. It's so hard to put into words. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. As ever, lots of links below. If you like what we do, brilliant if you could subscribe. Thumbs up are really good as well. And until the next stage, bye for now.